Hello, my name's Sarita and I'm speaking to you from Solhenge in Aquitaine, France, and I'm here to help you understand the truth about who you are. Now, one of the truths that I keep telling you all is that you are a divine being. And what I mean by that is that you are part of the unified field, source consciousness, God, whatever you want to call it. We are all one thing. You are a creator creating. You are such an all-powerful being, and we don't realize how powerful we are, basically. We've had all these sort of, somewhere in the ancient past, we lost our understanding of our own abilities. But you really are part of the universal love, your source consciousness. And as we're wandering around in our sort of day-to-day lives, we forget that we're born into these lives, and because we wanted to know ourselves, to experience ourselves, having this experience, we kind of had to forget from whence we came, which is why a lot of people don't remember that they're all powerful beings. You are as powerful as God. So if you are wandering around in your life and you are having a difficult time, it is worth remembering that you can call upon this source consciousness to help you, because it's another aspect of yourself, or you might want to call it your higher self, or some people call upon angelic guides, or angelic realms, or anything you want to call upon to help you in your daily life will come and help you, because it is you. It's really difficult to explain this, basically, but when we're going around in our daily problems and things begin to overwhelm us, it is very, very hard to remember that you are creating your own existence in a day by day moment. But it is easier to remember sometimes that there's a higher consciousness, which you are, which you're part of, which will always come to help you if you ask it. And so the meditation I want to do with you today is a meditation to help you if you are feeling particularly overwhelmed or upset by an incident or an issue or relationship in your life. And it's another Joe Dispenza meditation, because he's a meditating genius. And I wanted to share it with you. So it's a meditation to remove conditioned beliefs. And what you do in this meditation is you call upon God or higher consciousness or the unified field, or whatever you want to call it, universal love, to help you to get rid of this issue. And it's amazingly powerful, and it's utterly beautiful. And literally, I have never done this with someone who hasn't cried at the beauty of it, because once you connect with that unified, all-loving presence, which is within you and without you, and that you're part of, you really feel it. And so what we're doing in this meditation is we're going to give our problem over, our conditioned belief, into that unified non-judgment, beautiful, loving consciousness. And we're going to ask it to sort it out for us. Because us, in our physical bodies, in this 3D reality that we're walking around in, it's hard for us, to sometimes to rise above our own emotions and our own problems, and they can be overwhelming. So what I would like you to do in order to get yourself ready for this meditation is you're going to need a pen and paper, and we're going to pick one conditioned belief, or if you're having a specific problem, which is just overwhelming you, which you feel as if you can't conquer on your own, So we're going to I'll take an example. So you're going to get a piece of paper, and I want you to write down, one conditioned belief which is upsetting you. So let's pick, I'm going to pick unworthiness. Okay. So I'm going to pick unworthiness. Obviously you're going to pick something which is, which refers to your life and a problem that you've been having, and circle this this title. And I want you to write down now some behaviors and ways that you act when you're feeling this emotion. Okay, so for example, if you've written down worthiness, you might write, I always feel incredibly angry when people criticize me. I feel like I don't get anything right in my life. Or you might be really specific. You might be like, my relationship with my partner is always really edgy because you know, when he tries to give me a compliment, I won't accept it. Things like that. So you're writing down some behaviors. You don't have to write them all, just a few will do. Because if you repeat this meditation, what you'll find is those behaviors and things that you've remembered will change, or other things may come up in the meditation. So you're writing down some behaviors to do with this conditioned belief that happen in your life, which you want, which you don't like, which aren't doing you any good. And when you've finished writing those, I want you to write a few emotions you feel. So for example, if we're talking about that, you might feel, so unworthy might bring up real feelings of anger in you, real feelings of, I don't know, betrayal, or feelings that people, you know, people don't want to listen to you, or you know what those feelings are that they bring up. It might be sadness. So what you find is, or it might be fear, you know, fear to speak your truth, I don't know, bringing up a list of emotions. And what you'll find is, as you clear this conditioned belief about yourself, those emotions that are associated with will also clear, and potentially other emotions that are associated around it which you haven't thought of in this moment. Okay, so once you've got your conditioned belief you want to get rid of, and your list of, you know, conditioned behaviors around this belief and the emotions that you feel, have a quick read through and then put it down. You don't need to remember it exactly at all. So I'm going to describe the meditation now to you so that you're not bogged down with the practicalities of it once we get into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit you down, you're going to close your eyes, and then I'm going to do the Joe Dispenza classic, focusing inside and outside of you. So the idea of doing this is so that you become slightly discombobulated about your own identity, and you begin to feel and merge with the unified field. And so you lose your own sense of identity, your ego, you know, your egoic brain and your chitty chattering monkey mind slows down a bit. And so you begin to expand your awareness and become part of the unified field. So we're going to do that for a bit. And it's really important to get this preparation right, because if you get it right, everything else is you know, much easier and much more simple, because you've let go of your egoic mind. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to ask you to think about the conditioned belief that you want to get rid of. And at this point, I'm going to ask you to connect to that higher consciousness, that unified field of universal love, or whatever you want to call it. And I want you to understand that this presence, which is all around you and within you, is non-judgmental and loving. And I want you to begin to explain to that presence this conditioned belief and your behaviors and your emotions around this conditioned belief, and why you want to give them up and how it's affected your life. So you're doing this in your own mind, and you're just talking to this really beautiful, loving presence that is all around you and within you. So once you've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to surrender the conditioned belief to the unified field, to this loving presence, secure in the knowledge that they will deal with it and dissolve it in the best way for you. So for some people that might be an instantaneous feeling. For other people it might happen over a few weeks. Your awareness will arise and dissipate. Some of you might feel very emotional for a while. It's going to affect, this meditation is going to affect different people in different ways, and it will be set up exactly for what you need to get rid of this conditioned belief. The unified field knows you intrinsically. It's all loving. It's there for you. You are its number one priority, and it's going to help you clear this in the way that's best for you. Okay? So we're going to let it go into the unified field. We're going to surrender it. And then what we're going to do is something that Joe Dispenza calls the change game. And In the first part of the game, I'm going to walk you through a scenario where your conditioned beliefs try to come back into your head and into your life. And I'm going to say change. And when I say that word, you're going to just let those thoughts change, okay? Because as you dissolve the synaptic impulses of those same thoughts, so that same thought that you've been having, unworthy, which is sending a synaptic electrical impulse from A to B in your brain, you're going to not allow it anymore. You're going to change your behavior, okay? So I'm going to say the word change, and you're going to hear the word change, and you're going to just change your thought. Now you can change it to anything you want. So let's say your thought is I'm unworthy. Instead of sending that synaptic signal from A to B, I'm unworthy, you're going to send a new synaptic signal in your brain from A to C saying, I'm amazing. Pick whatever thought you want to replace it. And that will send a new signal. And if you do this new signal enough, what will happen is you will begin to build a strong signal in that thought, and they become almost like chords. And as you focus your thinking on this new chord, what will happen is the old thought from A to B will dissolve because you're not using it anymore, okay? And eventually it will disappear, and your new modus operandi will be I'm amazing, and that other thought will cease to exist because you can literally rewire your brain with focused awareness and new thinking, okay? So during the change game, I'm going to say change, and you're going to change the thought. And then we're going to bring up a second scenario. And when you feel the same thoughts coming back into your life, you and I together are going to say out loud the word change, and you're going to change that thought. And then we're going to bring up a third scenario. And in the third scenario, you alone will say out loud the word change, and you will change the thought. Okay? And then I'm going to bring you back into your body and into the room. And it's an extraordinary meditation, and it's going to give you a real opportunity to change the way you think and to get rid of conditioned beliefs, or a belief in this case, that doesn't serve you. And it's really interesting because once you get rid of one conditioned belief, you'll begin to realize that there are loads of them, basically. But you might have one, which is all pervading, that's your main one, like unworthiness. And then you might find that you have underneath that layer other conditioned beliefs that are not serving you. And you can use this meditation again and again to go through the layers and get rid of them all. And as you become adept at noticing your conditioned beliefs when they rise up and change them into new ways of thinking, and your brain rewires, you will become so happy and so healthy and so living a life that you want, not from past experiences, but coming forward from your present moment. Okay? So, if you're ready, have one more read through your piece of paper, and then you're going to sit down in your chair, and you're going to take a breath in, and you're going to let go of this conversation, and you're going to get really excited. And before we start, I want you to set an intention to let go of this conditioned belief that no longer serves you in this meditation. And once you've made your intention and set it, I want you to close your eyes. And just begin to follow your breath. Allowing the breath to bring you into yourself, into the divine laboratory of your body. Into the pathway and into the connection of the unified field of an awareness of who you are. And now, can you bring your awareness to the space inside the middle of your head, in space? And can you feel the energy that this space occupies inside your head? And can you bring your awareness to all of the energy around your head in space? And now, can you feel the energy inside your knees in space? And can you feel the vastness of space that connects your knees in space? And can you bring your awareness to all of the energy inside your torso in space? And can you feel the energy between your torso and the walls of the room in space? And now, can you elevate your awareness to feel the space that the whole of your head occupies in space? And can you feel the vastness of space around your head in space? And can you feel all of the energy of the whole of space that space occupies? And now, I want you to begin to feel yourself merge with the unified field, with the all-loving source that surrounds you in space, that is within you in space, so that you become no one, no thing, in no time and no place. Feeling the vibration of love all around you, through you, in you, so that everything is one and you are just a thought form floating within the unified field. Merged with consciousness. Feeling the energy of this presence, this divine being of which you are a part. And now, what was that conditioned behavior that you want to let go of in your life? And now I want you to begin to feel this beautiful, divine and all-loving presence with you. This presence that loves you unconditionally, that only wants for your joy and your happiness. And I want you to begin to explain to this presence the conditioned belief you want to get rid of and how it has affected behaviors and situations for you in your life. And I want you to explain to it all the emotions that this conditioned behavior has made you feel, all the ways you have reacted. And as you explain yourself, know that you are being listened to with divine love, without judgment. And now that you have admitted to this loving presence, your conditioned behavior and the way you have reacted around it and felt, it is now time to surrender this behavior into the unified field, knowing that as you decide to let it go and watch it leaving you into the field, that it will be dealt with and organized in a way that is perfect for you. So just surrender it. Allow yourself to let it go. Let it go. And now we're going to play the change game. So I want you to imagine that you are back in your daily life and you are waking up in the morning and you are cleaning your teeth in the mirror. And as you do this, those conditioned behaviors and thoughts begin to arise in you once again. But this time you notice them. And as you do, you hear the words, change, change. And you change your thoughts. And by the way, those thoughts, they were never loving to you. So you change them. And now it's the middle of the day and you're driving along in your car, and again you begin to notice that those same detrimental, conditioned beliefs and emotions are rising up in your mind. And this time you notice them. And out loud, what do we say? We say, change, change. And by the way, those thoughts were never loving to you. And now it is the end of the day and you're going to sleep. And as you get into your bed, you begin to experience those familiar feelings rising up in you, and you notice them. You are so aware now. And as they rise up, what do you say to yourself? Change. Change. Because those thoughts were never loving to you. Let that all go now, and gently start becoming aware of your breath again and your beautiful body sitting up in this room. And as you breathe, breathing into your heart center, and with every breath in, can you give gratitude to yourself for what you have done for yourself today? And can you give gratitude for your glorious body, which will now feel different in every moment? And give gratitude for your past, which has turned to wisdom. And give gratitude for your future, so that it will never be an experience of your past. And when you're ready, and taking as much time as you need, gently bringing yourself back into the room and opening your eyes. So there you go. That was the amazing Joe Dispenza Getting Rid of Conditioned Beliefs meditation. And I hope it really serves you well. Thank you for listening. Bye.